They hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Oh, baby, you got what I need. But you say he just a friend. But you say he just a friend. Shout out to the OG Biz Marquee. Rest in peace, hip hop classics and boxing. It's your boy, Hot Boxing Minute. What's good with it, family? Did y'all peep out my Julio Cesar Chavez Roots of Fight shirt? Come on now. El León de Culiacán, El Gran Campeón. You know how long it took my gringo ass to learn how to say that? Rolling the R's is mad difficult. Navarrete. Anyways, Hot Boxing Minute, you know the deal. This weekend out there in Corpus Christi at the American Bank Center. What is that date? September 15th? Not even this weekend. It's on a Friday. We got a top rank affair headlined by Venado Lopez and Joet Gonzalez. Let's throw it out one more time. A round of applause for what we got going down. Throw up the flyer. Top Rank has been coming with it on the graphic design. Y'all, they really are killing it. Did you see what they did for Shakur Stevenson? Because, you know, they got the whole issue going on with Frank Martin pulling out the fight, so everybody's calling duck. They made this awesome duck hunt graphic. I'm going to put it up to the screen. Maybe y'all can see it. Check it out. Will it focus? Let's find out. Come on, focus, baby. Focus. Will it focus? Maybe it won't. Dude, they made it out all like duck hunt. It was crazy, y'all. Oh, come on. Don't do me like that. Screen. In the center. It's not working. They made this awesome graphic like duck hunt. This here is an awesome little logo with the graphics that they got going on right there. We're going to have us a little Mexican shootout out there in Corpus Christi involving Venado Lopez and Joet Gonzalez. I have had the pleasure of seeing Joet Gonzalez fight. I saw him in San Diego fight against Emmanuel Navarrete. Joet Gonzalez was one of the top amateur national standouts when he was an amateur. He came up in the ranks around the same time as Gervonta Davis, as Shakur Stevenson, and in fact, he did beat Gervonta Davis twice in the amateurs. I don't know how much stock you can put in that. Probably not much, but it is a fun little bit of tidbit of information to know. Then, of course, we got your man, Luis Alberto Lopez, otherwise known as Venado, which is Spanish for deer. He is from out of there in Mexicali and started his boxing journey at like 20 years old, maybe 21, who knows. Started his professional career at 22 years old with minimum to no. Look, y'all, Venado Lopez is such a fascinating study in grit, heart, and determination. He barely turned professional at 22 years old. He had almost no amateur experience, so he probably started boxing in the first place at 21, 20 years old. Freakishly athletic. The kid has power through the roof. He is a world champion. He currently is the IBF Featherweight World Champion. His wins include names like Andy Vences, Gabe Flores Jr., Isaac Lowe, Josh Warrington. His most recent win was against Mick Conlon. That is such an impressive resume for a young man who started his pro career at 22 years old. It's almost mind-blowing. It reminds me of Sergio Martinez, how he started that late. And he is wildly entertaining. Anytime you see Venado Lopez in a ring, you know you're going to be in for an awesome fight.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
So they are going to butt heads this weekend. Joet Gonzalez. So Luis Alberto Lopez is 28-2 with 16 knockouts. Joet Gonzalez is 26-3 with 15 knockouts. On paper, it seems like they have roughly the same amount of power, to be honest. Their percentage, their knockout to win ratio is not very different. Luis Alberto Lopez has 2 losses. It was to Abraham Montoya and Ruben Villa. If you don't know, Ruben Villa was arguably the best amateur fighter of his kind of like little class. He beat Shakur Stevenson, I want to say 2 or 3 times. I think Ruben Villa, I don't remember who it was he lost to. But anyways, we're talking about your boy, Luis Alberto Lopez. Joet Gonzalez, he's 26-3. His 3 losses come against the best of the best. Shakur Stevenson, Emmanuel Navarrete, and Isaac Dogbo. And some would even argue in that fight against Isaac Dogbo, it was a split decision loss. It could have gone in either direction. It could have given it to young Joet Gonzalez. Stylistically, it's an interesting matchup. When you see somebody like Luis Alberto Lopez, like Venado, it almost kind of reminds me of like a Miguel Berchelt, Francisco Vargas, Emmanuel Navarrete, just somebody who is relentless in the application of their pressure. I would say he's as relentless as, say, a Berchelt in his prime was, because Berchelt was more successful because he was an oversized, featherweight, when he really should have been like roughly a lightweight, if not a 140-pounder. But he has so many mechanical flaws and so many perceived incorrect technical skill sets that you wonder how it is he's so successful, but it hasn't stopped him. He swings wide, he lunges, but he's also freakishly athletic, and he has that pop. He's clearly got a great boxing acumen because he beat classical boxers with deep amateur, even Olympic pedigrees like Michael Conlon and Josh Warrington in their own home court. So you have to give him his credit for that. The man is got such an impressive resume up until this point. And much like Navarrete, he does so much stuff wrong. Lunging punches, doesn't fight behind his jab. He gets hit clean a lot. Nobody has been able at this point to capitalize on Luis Alberto Lopez, aka Venado. And then you got your boy Joet Gonzalez. Joet Gonzalez is a very, very well-schooled boxer with puncher features. He is going to make it a good fight. In the past, Joet Gonzalez has shown himself to be a very, very sturdy dude that always gives entertaining fights, always keeps a great accounting of himself. And I have no less an expectation going into this fight. Luis Alberto Lopez is a shorter man by a couple of inches, and I think he gives up at like 3 or 4 inches of reach to Joet Gonzalez, so maybe some of that will work in Joet Gonzalez's favor. I'm not sure. It's a fascinating mix-up between those two young men. I know Joet Gonzalez is going to put up a good fight, but it's really hard to not favor Venado Lopez in this matchup. I'm going to have to go with my guy Venado Lopez to win this one. I'm thinking by decision. I'm under the impression that perhaps Joet Gonzalez might be sturdy enough to ride out the storm and give another good accounting of himself, being that he does have the bigger and longer physical dimensions. So maybe it'll give us a good sturdy fight. We're about to find out this Friday night, folks. It's very odd that it's a fight night on a Friday night. The other people fighting on that card, let me see if I can pull up this screen actually so I can show you what it is I'm looking at. I am looking at Tapology, and the undercards are going to be pretty stacked. You can count on Top Rank to give you some real awesome undercard matchups. So let me see if I can open up this page here. Where is it? Maybe I can't find it. Is it on it? There it is. All right. So let me open that up there. Yes, Sirski. Let me share the screen with y'all. Make that bigger, make myself smaller. All right. So as you can see on the flyer for the fight, you had Xander Zayas, a fun junior middleweight contender. He is young. I want to say he's like 19 years old, maybe 20. He has a lot of room for development. Every time we see him, he looks to be increasing in his skill set. They're going to go for 10 3-minute rounds against Roberto Valenzuela Jr., a very tough, sturdy Mexican journeyman. I don't know if at 21-4 you can call him a journeyman, on the cusp of being a journeyman, but it is what it is. You got Robson Conceição against Humberto Galindo. Robson Conceição dropped 2 fights. The first fight, I believe, was to, if I'm not mistaken, Shakur. He lost to Oscar Valdez, decision fight. That was a controversial fight. I thought Oscar won that fight, but regardless. And if I'm not mistaken, Robson also lost to Shakur Stevenson. Yes, Shakur and Oscar Valdez, both by decision. Ruben Villa against Brandon Valdez. Ruben Villa, an awesome, well-schooled fighter, like I said. He beat Shakur Stevenson in the amateurs. He is a very technically sound boxer with great puncher features. You got Omar Aguilar and Julio Luno. You got Tiger Johnson against Ricardo Quiroz. It's going to be an interesting matchup. 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. The one I'm really interested in, my guy Jermaine Ortiz. I got much love for Jermaine Ortiz. I have interviewed him on my channel before. And, Jermaine Ortiz is one of those dark horses in the lightweight /140 division. He was supposed to fight a few months back, but he got knocked off the card because he failed to make weight. So now he got a nutritionist in his corner, and he's going to try it again and see how his body feels in a matchup against Antonio Moran. And interestingly enough, it does relate a little bit to what it is that has been going on in the 135-pound division with Shakur Stevenson. So Shakur Stevenson's opponent, Frank Martin, pulled out of the fight. He was supposed to fight on November 16th on the same week as F1 Grand Prix, but once the offer and the contract was sent over by Shakur Stevenson, lo and behold, Frank Martin and them decided they were not interested in that event. Yes, folks, it was all bad. Oh, yeah, give him a boo. It's worthy of a boo. It's worthy of a boo. We were all excited about that fight, and then Frank Martin pulled out.
Man, this is some bullshit!
That is essentially what boxing fans everywhere have been thinking. So, lo and behold, the next person on the list is Edwin De Los Santos. Edwin De Los Santos has been calling out Shakur's name for a long time. The tweets coming from Shakur are indicating that it might be Edwin De Los Santos in November. I'm not sure. I sent a text out to Jermaine Ortiz because I do have his personal number. I did interview him before. The interview is somewhere in the catalog of videos on here on the YouTube channel. And he said that he was absolutely down to fight Shakur Stevenson. He has been down to fight Shakur Stevenson. Jermaine Ortiz is one of those guys that is really down to fight anybody. So, depending on his performance this weekend, maybe Edwin De Los Santos is not next for Shakur Stevenson. Maybe they're still waiting for another possible opponent. The next in line after Edwin De Los Santos is Shakur Stevenson. After that, it's Raymond Murataya. So, maybe maybe my guy Jermaine Ortiz will get that fight. I don't really know. It'd be fascinating if he did. It looks like all the signs are pointing to Edwin De Los Santos. But check out that fight card, folks, this Friday out there in Corpus Christi, Texas. How do you think the fight between Venado Lopez and Joet Gonzalez plays out? Does Venado Lopez get the stoppage? Does Joet Gonzalez ride out the storm to a decision loss? Does Joet Gonzalez pull off the upset? Let me know in the comments section. Hit that like button. Press follow if you are already not doing so, y'all. This is Hot Boxing Minute, y'all, the future of boxing analysis on YouTube and TikTok. You already know the deal. Peace.